What's up, everybody? Bruce from musicplayers.com here, coming to you from beautiful Palm Bay, Florida, the Sunshine State. We recently retired from our day job, my lovely wife and I. We bought a house down here, and we are absolutely loving it. Anyway, we're coming to you today, and we're talking to you about the Fender Ultra Strat 2. This is the second version of the Ultra Strat. We have the original Ultra Strat here. Let's get into some sound examples where we can compare the two and see how they stack up. Hey everybody, this is Bruce again from musicplayers.com, and we're reviewing the Fender American Ultra 2 Stratocaster. I want to talk to you a little bit about this guitar and the usability of it. Now, let's start this off by saying this is not your granddaddy Stratocaster by a long shot, not even close, okay? It does Stratocaster and so much more. Now, does it do Strat as good as your granddaddy Strat? Probably not. As a matter of fact, I know it doesn't. It's just the position 2 and 4 Strat thing, it doesn't do as well as some of my other Strats that have traditional single coil pickups in it. Now that comes at a trade-off. Those traditional single coil pickups are noisy. This guitar is clearly not marketed toward the beginner, the intermediate guitar player that's not really playing out or gigging. This guitar, being at slightly over $2,000, is geared at somebody that's making money in music, or wants to really treat themselves to a nice expensive treat of a guitar. But really, if you're gigging every week and you're playing once or twice a week at least, and you're making money playing guitar, you should be considering a premium instrument. And this definitely falls into that category where it's not priced in the stratosphere like your boutique $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 guitars that we're seeing now. And I mean, it's not priced in the dirt on something that you're going to have to worry about reliability and craftsmanship. That's, $400, $500, $600, $700. Those guitars are for the bedroom players. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They can sound great. You can make great recordings at home with those guitars too. But if you're out there and you're making money playing music, you're gigging, you're playing in front of people, you want something that's just good, that has to deliver night after night after night that you're playing. And this guitar will fall into that category. This guitar feels extremely well made. Let's talk about the tone knobs for a minute. The tone knobs have divots in them. I don't know if it's a magnet or a divot or what it is, but there's something that holds the tone knob on 10 wide open. I know a great majority of players leave the tone knob right there and never touch it on purpose. And I'm that player. I'm not a player that's going to work my tone knob all night long. I just don't do it. Not part of what I do. So I really appreciate this because I can't tell you how many times I go to start a song and I'm wondering where all the brilliance in the sound went. And it's because the tone, it sounded like a cocteau. The tone knob was down on 5. I hit it by accident. That's much less likely to happen on this instrument because of this feature. Greatly, greatly appreciated. It's not a big feature, but little things like this go a long way when you're making a guitar. Another thing that I could really appreciate on this guitar that's new for this line is the aluminum pickguard. Now, I do have other Stratocasters. 2 of them have warped pickguards. A traditional Stratocaster pickguard can and will warp over time if left in conditions that are less than optimal. And playing here in Central Florida, I will tell you, conditions are far less than optimum. We have a lot of humidity here and a lot of heat, and it wreaks havoc on steel and wood. So, and plastic at that rate. Once the pickguard warps, what happens is it bulges around here in the middle and it raises this pickup closer to the strings because the pickups are mounted to the pickguard. So the pickup comes closer, you can only get it down but so far, and you're just kind of screwed. That's not something I've ever been able to fix. So an aluminum pickguard, I don't think is going anywhere. I think this is going to stay a straight piece of aluminum for the life of this guitar. So I could really appreciate that. Another thing on this guitar that I could definitely appreciate are the locking tuners. Now, I have no science behind this at all to my claims, but I feel tuning stability gets better with locking tuners, and it makes string changes a heck of a lot easier. Including locking tuners, to me, are a big plus, and that is a carryover from the previous generation of this guitar. Another thing that makes this guitar very un-Strat-like, but very cool, is the 10 to 14 inch radius, compound radius going up the neck. Now, a lot of Strats that I played have had a C profile and like a 7 1/4 or 7.5 inch, whatever they are, and they're just really hard for me to play. I have short, stubby fingers, people. I don't have those gargantuan hands that wrap around the neck 7 times before you hit a note. I wish I did. Those players look like they have a much easier time than me. But God gifted me what he gifted me with, so here I am. And I could really appreciate the modern D neck profile with this radius. It really does make the guitar easy to play, and it definitely feels more like my shreddier guitars that are in my stable, like my ESP and my Jacksons. The guitar definitely feels more like that than it does my traditional Strats that I have. So I could appreciate that when I have to play a whole night's worth of music of varying different styles. I might have some funk, I might have some R&B, I might have some rock, I might even have a heavy metal song or two that I have to play, and that's really, really hard to do on a neck that you're just not getting by with, that you're not very comfortable with. So this neck really does fit like a glove. I spent a lot of time playing this guitar while I've had it in my possession for a couple of weeks. I've been in this room for hours just noodling around and jamming the backing tracks and making this video for you guys. And I really like it a lot. That's about what I could say about it. It's comfortable. I like it a lot more than the original Ultra that I purchased that you also saw in the video, the tobacco colored guitar. I actually like this one better. It's not that I don't like the Ultra, but the Ultra is just a little more laid back, and let me explain why that is. So when you order Hum single, and this is very thoughtful actually of Fender, because these single coils come in different flavors. They come in vintage and they come in hot. So when you order Hum single, they give you hot, noiseless pickups, okay, which is cool because you're getting the humbucker, which this humbucker actually sounds great for rock. I mean, I could play heavy metal and hard rock with this humbucker, no problem. It fits right in. It's roughly as hot as a Super Distortion, I would say, or I don't know, maybe a Tone Zone, a pickup like that, a good premium pickup. Nothing too hot, but more than middle of the road hot. So, you could play your Rat songs and stuff like that with this pickup, I think, no problem. And these hot noiseless pickups, you heard in the video, they're considerably louder than the vintage noiseless that come when you get a single configuration. So I guess Fender figures, I'm speculating, but I guess they figure, when you get single, you want something closer to a traditional Strat, so they give you more of a vintage vibe to these pickups, which I could appreciate too. If it was that kind of gig that I was going to, that would be the guitar I grabbed for it. Then it wouldn't be this, because this guitar is just better suited for a wider variety of material. All right, if I just had a bluesy gig or something like that, or something maybe classic rock, maybe I would grab the other guitar. But if I had to cover a lot of ground, this is the guitar I would use to do it. Another feature that's a holdover from the previous generation is the contoured heel. Okay, you don't have that big block here blocking you from getting and making it difficult for you from getting into the upper register. So the contoured heel definitely is a very thoughtful, not a huge feature, but a very thoughtful feature to make the guitar that much more playable. So does this guitar strat like a Strat? Yeah, it does. Not as good as some of my other Strats, especially in the 2 to 4 position. It's very noticeable for that. But it's a trade-off. You know, it's a trade-off in noise, okay? You don't have traditional single coils, so you don't have to worry about the noise. You will get 75 to 80% there with the funky kind of in-between Strat sounds that Strats are known so well for and why people love Strats, and you won't have the noise. Which to me, again, being that I feel this guitar is more geared toward a professional player, you'll appreciate when you're in front of people and, you know, everybody's looking at you because things are noisy. It's like, you know, we just want to hear the music. Like your bandmates are looking at you like, quiet that thing down, you're blowing the gig. I'll take 80% there and dead quiet over like perfect sounding single coils that when I step on a tube screamer or something, or I bring up a dirty patch in my Axe effects, that it's just going to turn into a mess. That's not desirable at all. That's definitely not what I want. So I would definitely take the noiseless pickups for a gig over a traditional single coil any day. Yeah, you could use noise gate, sure. Yeah, you could work the volume knob, sure. But, you know, when you're covering so much material, you know, you just want, and especially if you have to sing, if you're a guitar player out there that has to sing, you can't concentrate on much more than singing and playing the guitar. Like, how much more are you supposed to do? You know, you got to step on the noise gate, work the volume knob, this and everything more you have to do at your show detracts from you putting on your show. So I'll take the noiseless pickups any day of the week over pickups that are going to be noisy, as long as they sound good. And these pickups do sound good. Speaking a little more to the noiseless pickups, I do remember when the noiseless pickups first came out, and I got to be going back, this has to be close to 20 years now. I bought a set of the original noiseless pickups, and I didn't like them at all. I felt that they didn't have much soul to them at all. They didn't have much bite, much attack, much anything. I didn't like them. As a matter of fact, the guitar that I ended up putting them in, I got rid of. That's how much I didn't like the pickups. But these pickups, they have come a long way. I'll say that much for them too. Are they really there yet where they're identical to a single coil? No, I don't think they are. I think a true Strat should have 3 single coils in it. That's me. A lot of people would disagree with that. Plenty of people have taken over the world with Strats with humbuckers in them. So what do I know? But my Strats, I like to have 3 single coils. And to me, that's the sound of a Strat. Now, you know, I don't think that these noiseless pickups are quite single coil-ish just yet. They're getting closer and they're getting better. And they sound good for what they are. They do. But they're just not the same. It's not identical, which is why the guitar doesn't really Strat like a Strat. This has been Bruce from musicplayers.com reviewing the Fender American Ultra 2 Stratocaster. Thanks for watching.